Welcome to the WTH Show. I'm Teddy Von Felt, and we've got an intriguing topic lined up for you today. Our focus is on the 41 state attorney generals who have demanded that Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, improve their customer support for hacking victims. With a runtime of just 11 minutes, the episode is going to be short, but definitely worth your time. Stick around and let's roll the intro. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Let's do this. Welcome to the WTH Show. What's that mean? What the hell? We share customer experiences gone wrong and the few that got it right. We are a place to vent, get advice, and help if we feel we can make a positive impact. Know that you are not alone. If you or someone you know had a problem with a business and want to be on the show, please go to WTHshow.com. Then click on Start Here.
I'm going to digress for just a second and come right back to this. Back in March, the attorney generals from every state in the first 2 weeks, I think, of March, they all released the top industries that cause an attorney general's office or the most volume of calls, lawsuits, etc. And it's always like insurance, automotive, and now on a lot of those lists are tech companies. And why are those on there? Some of these tech companies, their audience has grown too big. They either don't care or their customer service have just lost control of helping millions of users. This isn't hundreds or thousands of customers. These are users on these platforms that can be north of 100 million users. So it's 41 state attorney generals from around the U.S. are demanding that Meta set up its support services for users who have been victims of hacks and account takeovers. What's interesting is my late father, his got taken over, and that's just a big pain in the butt trying to take care of that because I'm not highly motivated. The dude's dead. No disrespect to my dad, but he's dead. What am I supposed to do with it? I don't want to spend a lot of time chasing that. That is just one example that has finally hit home with me. But Meta, the attorney generals are quoted as, "We refuse to operate as the customer service representatives of your company," the group writes in a letter addressed to Meta's chief legal officer. This goes on about a bunch of different things, but at the end of the day, what's going on are those account hacks. They're not doing anything about it. And one thing I don't know that a lot of people are aware of, there's a lot of small businesses that their livelihood is based on Instagram, Facebook, etc. And when they get hacked, they have no revenue coming in because they can't get back into their account. And this article gets into, if you don't know somebody from Instagram or just anything in the Meta sphere organization, it can be weeks, months, or even over a year to get your business back online. Now we have an unemployment problem. We have all these folks trying to overrun AG in all these different states. It's ridiculous. So the next thing that they get into is how Meta, after they started getting in front of it, had to go in front of Congress, Zuckerberg, and then how they committed to a higher level customer service and how they were going to take care of this and told Congress this. And the next thing, I guess it was like a year and a half later, I could be off by a year there, they decide to let go about 10,000 people. And I think that was November of 22. In 22, in the early stages, they let 10,000 people go. It sounds like they did not come back at all, and or keep the major part of the company to take care of hacks and accounts, and all of that, because they didn't, has now fallen on the AG or attorney generals. So now every one of them have big problems. And then I'll end with this. What are you supposed to do with this from the attorney general side of things? And why can't Meta get their hands wrapped around this? And by the way, let me correct myself. 11,000 employees in a mass layoff in November of 22. Dan, over to you. What do you think about
I recall correctly about that article, though. Wasn't it called out that they were building a team that was sole job, they Meta, whose sole job was going to be to manage these issues, and then they announced a big layoff, and basically the team they were building, no one ever heard of again. It just went away. Meta's been called out a bunch of times, and I will say this: a lot of people use social media as a promotional platform. Here we are as a podcast. Social media is a promotional platform. I listen to other podcasts, and on a particular podcast that involves a lot of comedians that come on, I'm not going to reference the podcast, but just know other comedians come on. There's been multiple comedians that have been on complaining about their social media accounts on various websites being hacked and stolen. The average person isn't going to go to, terrible example, he's dead, georgecarlin.com to find out what his tour dates are. They're more likely to go to Facebook and look to see what the person's posted. If that person's account's been hacked, they are basically handcuffed because they know the average person's not going to go to their personal website. They're going to go to a Facebook or something like that, or Twitter, to find out what the person's tweeted out for tour dates and what they put on Facebook. It's just the way things are. It's what social media has become. Social media has become that method for putting the word out, so you don't need to update a website. Website takes a lot more to work on. Anybody can go in and make a quick adjustment to your Facebook account or tweet something out in about 30 seconds to say, here's my upcoming show. If these people have their account locked down, that's huge money. And they're basically handcuffed. And the sheer number of them that have come on to those shows saying, I'd love to be able to put my dates out there, but I can't, so I got to use venues like this and hope people hear it, or hope people will look at the signage for the place that I'm going to be going to and see I'm going to be playing there. It is crazy the amount of damage that hacking a celebrity of whatever level social media accounts can do to them. And if you have a company like Meta that's simply not addressing it, that's crazy talk. Because that just means it's a whole lot of money that's not entering. It's a not going to the celebrity, but it's also a whole lot of other stuff. Because there are people that work at those sites. There's vendors. There's just the ticket takers. All these people also make money because that person's going to be there. And if those accounts are hacked, that's money that we are simply not bringing into those people's pockets, meaning we're not distributing them out to our capitalist society. Companies like Meta need to understand that if you are going to do this for a living, then you need to be held accountable for the support to those sites. If people have had their accounts locked out, they need help. If people have had their accounts stolen, they really need help. Because that's money that's not going into their pockets or anybody else's pockets. You are basically handcuffing a certain part of society. Sorry, got a little political, but that to me is what this all comes down to.
it? Yeah, I don't know that it's political as much as it's just logical. I'm going to go back to my original point for a second. Guys, there's so many businesses out there that can't handle the business they have. That's probably the best way of putting it. And what I'd like to see some suggestions in the comments below is, what do you do? Do you outsource more of this to other companies? And I'm not a big outsource to other companies, even though I'm an outsourced resource to another company. But you lose so much control when you start outsourcing these things,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't help. And especially in the case of customer experience is. So I'm going to leave it at that. Enough said. They really need to get their arms around this and leave it at that. So let's move to the closing comments for the day. Uh, I don't have, I will say this based on that last article. Don't hesitate to go to your attorney general in your state and see what they can do for you. But don't expect them to do a lot. They're not a free attorney. They are in some cases. The last comment I'm going to make are in closing thoughts. The other closing thought is please subscribe on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. Give us some comments on how you'd like this show tweaked, and then we can go from there. Dan, what do you got for closing thoughts?
Customers, instead of thinking you got to go post your worst issue over the hostess online, really think about it from their point of view. And people, let's not engage each other on social media and start calling each other out. Nothing good comes of this. It's going to create swirl. You may find out that you may have had the support of everybody until you decided to engage. Let it go. If you work in the service industry, have a thick skin. Get over it. Let it go.
Good point. Let it go. Let's call it let it go theory.
Are you gonna start singing "Let It Go" to me? Please start singing "Let It Go."
No, no.
Come on, Teddy.
Oh,
Come on.
no, I'm good. All right, guys. Again, looking for feedback from you. What direction you want us to take this show? And other than that, we appreciate you listening. And that's a wrap. We're out.